Rugby World Rankings, folks. After 5 rounds of Rugby Championship 2024, Ireland go number 1. South Africa drop to number 2. Can they swap back with one more round of this championship to go? Let's go through the recent changes to the World Rankings, and you guys can let us know how fair or not you think the rankings are. Ireland, as I mentioned, didn't have to do anything, I guess, to get number 1. You could say, or you could argue, well, the Rugby World Ranking is the mark of how you have been performing across all your kind of recent games. So the fact that Ireland are number 1 is a fair reflection of where they're at in terms of their recent games. You can kind of look at it either way. The Boks, with their loss to the Pumas, drop 1.81, so that sees them fall below the Irish 9.12 into second spot above New Zealand, who did take some points off the Wallabies in their win in Bledisloe Cup number 1, only like half a point, 0.45 gain for the All Blacks. But yes, there's been some movement in the World Rankings at number 1. What do you guys reckon? Are Ireland a fair bet at number 1 in the world? It's a spot they have had before, and when they recently went toe-to-toe with the Boks, the series finished 1 apiece, so not much between the sides either way. France and England are still there 4 and 5, obviously no changes for them, but Argentina, the big winners, not only keeping the Rugby Championship alive with that win over in Santiago, they have gained 1.81 from the Boks. That sees them past Scotland for that vital 6th spot in the Rugby World Rankings, with the Rugby World Cup draw due a year out from 2027, which is still a fair way out from where we sit now, but still that 6th spot is certainly going to be the one to watch. Scotland dropped to 7, Italy still there in 8, and then there's more changes. This is the most changes we've seen in the World Rankings in a while, with Fiji getting that Pacific Nations Cup crown, defeating Japan pretty comfortably away from home. They've gained 1.21 to pass the Aussies, who also dropped points to the All Blacks, into 9th spot. So the Wallabies kind of teetering on this side of my whiteboard, with Wales still a fair bit behind them on the other side. But yes, it's the lowest we've seen the Wallabies in a while. And geez, look at Fiji. Fiji and Italy are 2 sides that have regularly throughout the years been on that side of the whiteboard. So massive achievement for both those sides to be where they are at. And as I said, congratulations to a pretty young Fijian side for lifting that trophy. Wales and Georgia 11-12. Samoa also took some points off the United States, getting 3rd place in the Pacific Nations Cup. So they are up past Japan. So Eddie Jones's kind of honeymoon period, as it seemed to be getting on track throughout this Pacific Nations Cup, is now over. They dropped back to 14th spot. Portugal, Tonga, Uruguay, Spain from 15th to 18th. The USA did drop some points, but not enough to drop below Romania there in 20th. But what about number 1 in the world? Can the Boks take it back if they are to hammer the Pumas this coming weekend and secure the Rugby Championship at the same time? No, they cannot. They will not take any points from the Argentinians if they are to get a win. You may be asking yourself, hey, what's the deal with that? That's not fair. If you've been following these vids for any time, remember the key factors. If you're at home, your side gets scored at +3. So the Boks on 91.77 will be at 94.77. And you can't take any points off a side for which you are 10 points or more ahead of. The Pumas are there on 84.30, so it'll be just more than a 10-point gap. So the Boks have got nothing to gain World Rankings-wise for a win. Obviously, the silverware of the Rugby Championship is far more important than the World Ranking, but still, World Rankings-wise, nothing to gain for them, whereas the Pumas could go all the way up into 5th if they were to win. And the Boks would be certainly putting it close to New Zealand. I don't think they can drop below New Zealand if they were to lose, but it would certainly narrow the gap between those 2 sides. New Zealand, they are playing the Aussies. They also are in a position where they can't get any points for beating the Aussies either. New Zealand away from home were able to, but 88.7 becomes 91.7 if we're adding the 3, and the Wallabies down on 79. Yeah, 10 points or more gap there, so New Zealand will gain nothing in World Rankings points, but will drop to 4th if they were to continue their bad run of form at Wellington. The Wallabies could shoot back up into 8th spot if they were to beat the All Blacks in Bledisloe Cup game number 2, although the All Blacks have already locked up the Bledisloe with the win over there in Sydney. If you think my whiteboard is looking crowded, you should have seen the crowd when I was walking around China not too long ago wearing an old Leinster hat. It's a blue one rather than the green Irish one I'm wearing now, which annoyingly doesn't match the colour of the jacket. Why are you guys switching greens on me, Ireland? But yeah, check out 2 Cents on Tour. That's when I was walking around China. That particular video on a public holiday, it was absolutely pandemonium. I don't know what public holidays are like where you're from. In New Zealand, it tends to be traffic jams, if anything else, but certainly not crowds of people like that. Check out that experience if you will. I'll put a link down in the description. Let me know if you've gone from the rugby channel to that channel. It's always nice to see you guys in both places. But you guys let us know your thoughts on the Rugby World Rankings. How fair or not, as I say, do you think they are? Who would you have winning some of these kind of close matchups? If the Box were to travel to Ireland in November, which they are not, who do you think would get the job done there? Because they did meet in South Africa back in the kind of mid-year tests. The All Blacks are facing the likes of Ireland and France in November. How do you think they are going to go? They are ranked below one and above the other. Plenty of rugby to look forward to. You guys let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. I would appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.